Hello again. It's been Christmas vacation, so I haven't been able to stream. A lot of obligations. And I found myself with a new webcam. And I really tried to change the setup so everything is a lot nicer to look at. I created a softbox out of cardboard. It works. So I hope that the lighting setup is a lot better when I switch between dark screen and light screen. It's not as flash bangy as it was earlier. It's still a difference, but it kind of adjusts, so I think that's good enough. I even set up a backlight to try to get some definitions between me and the background, but doesn't look to be working. It needs to be brighter, but it is what it is. I also added a compression to the microphone because some of the lower parts where I kind of mumble my thoughts wasn't that easy to hear what I was actually saying. So I added a compressor, yeah, and it's just trying out some new things, but the setup seems to be quite nice now. So what was it we were doing? It was a language called SICK. I almost can't remember anything about it. Also, I changed from using Visual Studio Code. I saw that SICK had come out by pure accident. I clicked upon a video and saw that it was actually released. So I tried it out and I really like the way everything just works and it's really fast. So now I can even start it with a debugger so I can debug the code. But I can also just build and run, which doesn't work. Did we leave it in a non-working state? I don't think so. Have I clicked something? No, I don't think so. So why is our project not working? Okay, that's not positive. I was 100% sure we left it in a working state. But let's see. Now I of course have to learn SIG and SIG using set. But I also have to learn to use set as well. I know that we can get a terminal panel. There it is. Yeah, there. Let's see if we can build SIG build and then just run it. Oh, that's right. Why is that? That fails. So that's because it doesn't have an argument on the command line, or maybe it is. Ah, yeah, I remember. We finished off this and that worked, but we didn't account for it for the leftovers, the padding. And also we need to not just do it for the first 3, but for all the data coming in from the file. So we also need to read the rest of the file. Yeah, it's been a while since I looked at this. So let's go over it and see if we can remember what we were actually doing. We're looking at the file buffer. Where's the file buffer? It's right there. We read in bytes. And we do this. We need to do this as long as there's bytes to read. So how do we do that the easiest way? Can we do a while? We did something like this where we had to catch the error. And I can't remember how we did that. Doesn't matter, we'll figure it out. It wasn't an else route, was it? Maybe it was. Maybe it was. Else. Oh. Switched on the error. And if no error, then we keep allocator, allocated this one. We shouldn't do this for every oh. Yeah, I have some keyboard issues. The first keyboard I pay a lot of money for, and it has some issues with some of the keys not registering. Kind of annoying. So, can we do this? It's not pretty, but it actually built. So we learned something. So can we say as long as this is larger than 0? No, that wasn't possible. Operator not allowed. I know it shouldn't be done this way. Right? That would be, again, that's ugly. But it works. I guess we need a stream for the output as well. But that worked. But we don't want to create the allocator on each. We want to deallocate it right away, but now we have the allocator. File reader allocator, the Base64 output allocator. That's only 4. So let's see if we instead of printing out this one, again, we are not optimizing, we are just making it work. And I know it's not the way to do it, but if we just write it out line by line, we should be able to do this. We're handling this error as well. Build, test. Yeah. Use your brain, damn it. What are we gonna do? this, and this should just be this and nothing else. But this is outside the loop. This shouldn't affect anything, right? That's kind of weird. Oh, we get a build error. Why? Too few arguments. Excuse me? Oh. Okay. Again, read the error. It often helps. Yeah, now we are gonna get this. But as we can see, it ends with MCU. And then we have one more. This should be padding because that's probably the exact same leftover data. So we have to handle see. First of all, we don't care that we have repeating code. Again, we are not optimizing or anything. So if we do a switch on the bytes read, and we say if it's 1 byte, let's do it the other way around. If it's 3 bytes, we should be doing this. If it's only 2 bytes, we should be doing, whoops, this. Do we need a comma between those? Yeah. And then we have the last one. Maybe we should even end with a comma as well. There we have it. So we're gonna go to the wiki page for Base64 as we did previously. And see this one. If we read 3 bytes, it should be this. If we read 2 bytes, the first 2 are still the same, but the third is not. Let's see, what are we doing with the third one? This one. We are taking the first 4 bytes from 2 and shifting it to and then we are adding not this. We will actually be not adding anything. We'll just be shifting it, and that should actually be enough because we don't have to add anything. But this one should then be padding, which is 61. Do we have that in? No? Why is that not added as a specific? Okay. It is not. So can we just add it as a 61? What is this? U8s, right? How do we define that as a U? I know that's wrong. It's been a while, okay? Oh, must handle all possibilities. Else, do nothing. Yeah, you wait. I just want to add this. As this is U8, this will be interpreted as being U8, but can't I specify exactly what type I want it to be? Or is it only if I add it as a variable I have to do that, because this is kind of hidden. And in SIG we want to be very explicit. Or explicit. We'll see if that works. Build it, test it. Didn't change anything because we don't have 2 left. I guess that we have 1 left. Seems weird because I expected it as the last 3 was the same. No, that does make sense. That does make sense. Okay. So we know the last 2 should just be the padding value. So let's just do that. But this one, we shift this one and it and shift it 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're gonna do nothing else with it. There we have something that is actually padded. Let's copy it and see. Yeah, it figured out what it was. Encode, decode. Okay. Testing Base64 encoding. So we actually created a working Base64 encoder. That is very nice, and it's not that complicated. There's a lot of overhead handling, buffers and so on, but that's okay. So this one is the same for all of them. So we can move that out of there. Out of the switch statement. Right? This is the same for these two. And so on, but yeah. There's probably more room for more optimization, but it's okay. Actually, just to make it clear what's going on, we are gonna leave it in there. And we are also gonna take this one and say, come on. We are gonna put the break down there. Does that work? It does. So if we read 3 bytes, we convert all of them and so forth. And if it's not, if we didn't read 1, 2, or 3 bytes, we probably read 0. If we read more, something is wrong because our buffer is only 3 characters, 3 U8s in size. So what is this scroll bar? That's weird. It is what it is. Yeah, so that works. We have some error handling legacy from when we tested out our error handling. But yeah, and do we have any? Now we'll have the full path to the file. Let's put that there instead. Open the file. Defer close. File buffer. Output Base64 output buffer. Read bytes from the I like Base64. It ensures that we can, transmit any byte array using simple text. I know there's some overhead, but it's okay. It's okay. So everything is actually working. Let's just rebuild to make sure and test it. It looks good. Maybe I should just remove all the unused outputs. Error handling, current paths, debug information, full path. File allocator. Yeah, that seems to be it. Where do we have it? Base64 encoded data. Perfect. Let's see if we can do this with a larger file. Yeah, let's find an image online. Test image. Yeah, whatever image. Test images. Should we take something like home? Learning sick. Base64 encoded. And we're going to save it in here. Test JPEG. I don't know how big it is, but that doesn't matter. Exactly. Okay, maybe it was. No, it wasn't that big. Nice. We're gonna take it up till here, copy it. Then we're gonna go to this one. It says it can decode a JPEG. See? It actually works. I am satisfied. That's nice. Now I would like to look into our outputs. As you can see, it's 7.4 megabytes, which I find extremely large. I would say a program like this should be maybe 10 kilobytes. There's nothing in here that would demand 7.4 megabytes. Let's see, this one doesn't include anything. But we have our build scripts. Maybe we can see what's going on here. Standard optimization. What else do we have here? Standard optimization. Standard optimization. Release mode. Yeah, because I would like to try to be able to build it in different targets. Not different targets, but optimizations. So I can optimize for size, runtime, execution speed. Standard optimization options. Optimize mode. Let's see. There's some of this. This is what I'm looking for. Release small, for instance. But how do you do that? Standard target options. Executable target optimize. Yeah, optimize, but what is optimize? That was the standard optimization. Okay, let's read what it says. Standard optimization options allow the person running SIG build to select between debug, release safe, release fast, release small. Here we do not set a preferred release mode, allowing the user to decide how to optimize. Also possible to define more custom flags to toggle optional features of this build script using b.option. All defined flags including target and optimize options will be listed when running SIG build help in this directory. So are we just to add b.option? b.option? Comp time, role, description. I don't know. Optimization mode. No, it doesn't take that as an option. I'm fumbling around here. Let's see if the internet can't help. Yes, we read that before. But how do we set it? Are we just... I want to add it to the build script and not to the command line. Runtime safety. Oh, it also disables the safety. I'm just gonna try to see if our build, if we can just do this. No. That's kind of what I was expecting to do. Build script, let's see. Come on. Nope, they really do not want to. Target host optimize. This is where we add this. Optimize is just set to optimize. Dot release safe. But we have already defined this one, so we need to do something with this. I really like some code completion here. This is standard optimization option, but I want to set the optimize mode. That's simply none. Again, as I mentioned before, I learn by examples. Built-in optimization mode. That was SIG11. So it says that the STD built-in types, optimization mode, release small, and then set that to optimization. And use the optimization when we do this. So we're just gonna do like this. I'll comment that one. And let's see if that works. Oh, so it flushed everything. I see 17 kilobytes. Oh my god. 7.8 megabytes to 17 kilobytes. But we can only set one optimization, right? I'd really love to optimize for size and speed. But of course, that's might be too much to ask for. Is it still working? Looks like it. Now see, that I like. I don't care about runtime safety. When I develop, yes. But when I want to run it, if something goes out of bounds, I want it to crash. I know that it opens up for some overflow. It removes overflow checks. So what is it called? Buffer overflow exploitations. But hopefully I will never create anything that would pose a security risk in any of these. With SIG, then I would absolutely have a release safe. But what about the release fast? Let's see. And now what is the size? Sorry. Yeah, almost a megabyte, but that's still only an eighth of what it was before. So that is absolutely okay. I still would absolutely prefer small. I don't know why. I feel like it's weird that we have to have all this overhead. It shouldn't be necessary. Yep. Time to hydrate. I'm just gonna have myself a glass of water. Looks like the stream is frozen. I'm just gonna test to see. No, it's only the webcam. That's kind of weird. Just gonna check OBS and see what's going on. Give me a second. Yep, that's weird. That is really weird. And of course it's frozen in a frame where I have a finger poked into my eye because of a hair. So that's not that pretty. I'm just gonna disable the webcam then. So, weird. But again, it's a new webcam. There might be some things wrong. Who knows? But the stream is still up and running. So let's see. We were doing a don't save. We're done with this. Should we find another project or should we do the Base64 decoding? Nah. I want to do something else. This makes sense. It was nice. But let's leave this project. and do something else. Should we go online and figure out what to do? What else? Small SIG programs. Yeah, I know I'm not a beginner programmer, but it's still a new programming language, so do they have SIG? Not that kind of language. Why would they ever? That's so dumb. That's so dumb. No, they don't even know what SIG is. I find it sad. I really think that SIG will change, not change how we program, but I think it will be selected and used a lot compared to C and C++ moving forward, especially on low-level projects. Beginner projects. A to-do list. Survey form, word counter. A word counter. We still need to open the file. We would have to split it at the spaces, so maybe that's a good idea. Sudoku solver. Okay. I've never done any of those. But for a weather app, trying to do some networking, quiz game, countdown timer. We do have a timer in SIG, don't we? Or is that something that is from the C library itself? Might be. We can try to time how long it takes to do this. From beginning to end. We don't need to count this one. It's a comp time, as I understand it, because it's known at compile time and it never changes. It's just what it is. But don't we have something like time? Yeah, nano timestamp. And what is that? That is in nanoseconds relative to Linux. Isn't that called Linux something standard time epoch? I-128. They for sure has ensured that we can map out the entire life of the universe, right? Damn. Start time. We can do end time, and we can do an output. So runtime, and it will be in something like this. End time minus start time. And in nanoseconds. Let's just jump into it again. we did this. And as soon as we are out of this switch a while, not the switch or a while, just the while loop, we just want to do a new line. Do this. Nanoseconds. Milliseconds. Microseconds. Nanoseconds. So it took us 40 microseconds. The webcam, it froze. I have no clue, and it's frozen on a picture where I have my finger poking into my eye, which I don't think is very flattering to just be showing. So up until for 5 minutes ago, it worked fine. I don't know why it's just stuck at that frame. Kind of weird. Kind of an expensive webcam, so kind of weird. And now I had the nice lighting set up and 2 lamps and so on. I just decided, let's just drop it. Let's see, where am I at? I need that window and I need that window. So yeah, it's too bad, but I will test it again and again and see what went wrong, because it looks to be working, but yeah, maybe I can. How do I reset it? I thought that just disabling it in OBS would work, but apparently it doesn't. So I'm not even sure how to change it. I can't even change it because it's in stream, or I'm just gonna try to do something like this and then this. Did it work? It looks to be working. Yay! It works again. Weird. But again, it's the first stream with the new webcam, so it will work. I will make it work. Let's see. Yeah, my wife is making some ice cream for New Year's Eve, so if you can hear some buzzing in the background, it's just a blender chopping up some chocolate. Not a bad thing. So the nano timer, I really love that. I like being able to check that the code execution is taking whatever time I expect it to take. And again, if we run it again, it will probably take different times. Yeah, it will never be the same. It depends on a lot of variables. But a difference of this much, that's weird. But I guess that it depends on the memory allocation and the file access as well. But yeah, I think this project is as finished as it's gonna be. We could optimize a lot, I'm sure, but yeah, I see no reason. I learned what I wanted to learn. We can do bit manipulation, we can do shifting, operation on, and I guess that OR is just the pipe symbol. So that's the same as in, I guess, C, C++, and C#. So we don't need to go further into that. I kind of gotten this format of while something and then capture the variable, do something with the variable, and the else where we catch the errors. So we have the error and can handle all the different errors. Error trying to read from file not open for reading. So we can check to see if we can provoke that and say we will open this file only for writing, and then rerun the program and see, yeah, error trying to read from file not open for reading. So our error handling is working as well. And the allocators, I'm not sure how we can check to see if we are actually leaking memory. We're gonna ask the internet again. So let's see. Sig allocators, debug allocators, detect memory leaks. To understand the memory leak I was trying to solve, I must explain first what I was attempting. In my interpreter, this parser.sig file generates the abstract syntax tree. That's just something he's implementing. I'm going to edit the details. Mem allocator. Validation. Yeah, I'm just mumbling for myself here. I want to be able to check for memory leaks. I know there's a way we can check for memory leaks. Or is it only visible if we actually leak memory? So if I do not defer the full path, it actually doesn't tell me that I haven't freed that part of the memory. That's not good. So how do we do that? Leaking memory. We can ask an AI. Just see to check memory leaks. It says we use testing allocators that track allocation, ensuring that all allocated memory is freed. But what is a testing allocator? General purpose allocator, alloc, free the memory, examples of error handling. Allocator, free the buffer. But again, these two looks like the normal general purpose allocators. So it doesn't make sense to me. Use testing allocators that tracks allocation and deallocation. They can report memory leaks. Yes, but what are those testing allocators? because the general purpose allocator isn't a test allocator, right? Test allocator. Oh, so you have to create it yourself? I thought that was something in the standard library that we could just add. Yeah, I think there's some easier way to do this. I saw a video at some point where they just added some simple library and did the allocation, probably using one of these test allocators, but they didn't write it themselves. I'm pretty sure. I can't say it for sure, but the guy where we saw before, I can't remember where it was. One of these websites, he got the memory leak information even though he didn't use a testing allocator. So I guess that's, we will let that lie for now and just make sure that we did add the defer once again for the full path allocator. Yes, we did. It's perfect. That is perfect. So we also coming up on an hour, so maybe I will stop the stream and then spend some time finding a small project I can do in SIG, trying to learn something else like string manipulation, which is something that we use all the time. Somebody probably did some JSON handling as well, or are we actually using JSON when we use SIG because we don't have objects? It's not an object-oriented language. Oh, and once again, I can see that the webcam has frozen. It's really nice and annoying. You know what? We're just going to disable it. That is really weird. But maybe we can go through some logs and figure out why the webcam suddenly stops. It's really weird. I can try another USB port the next time, but I think it's something else because this is just weird that it just freezes after a few minutes. Maybe it's overheating or something weird. But I hope that the new lighting setup was a lot more pleasant to look at instead of me just being completely white in my face every time I look at a bright website. But I guess, yeah, that's gonna be it for today. I finally have some Christmas vacation and it would be nice just to do nothing for a few days, but maybe a stream here and there will be to my liking. And as always, this will be uploaded to YouTube, and you're always welcome to comment or just laugh at my lack of knowledge about SIG or leave a comment and help me out. So until then, have a nice day. Bye.